Make yourself a bead board. I always find my beads are rolling all around my table, and I also need certain color backgrounds that come out better when I'm filming. Maybe you don't need the background as much, but certain colors you'll probably like working on more than others. So this is a portable board you can put on any table, you can put on your lap, you can put it anywhere to work. And what I did was someone sent me this nice roll of canvas, but you don't need any specific material. I've used old bed sheets, old pillowcases, old towels. You could use anything. You shouldn't have to buy anything. But if you want, get some nice fabric you like that you think will have a good texture so stuff won't roll around. Like felt works really good, but it also picks up a ton of little fuzzies if that doesn't bother you. But anyway, get your whatever material you want. Get a board. Make sure it's the size you like. This one is 15 inches by almost 2 feet, almost 24 inches. I like a large work area, but you might only need half this much. And you can sit it on your lap while you watch TV. Anyway, cut out your fabric a little bit wider than the board. Put a little glue down. You don't need a lot. This is E6000. I like this. It works for me. I'm just doing the edges here. This is going to be the top part, and then I'm just going to put just a little bit in the middle, just so the final fabric isn't moving around too much. I want to pull it tight. And you could say that maybe staples would work, but if you have staples on the other side, underside, they could scratch a table or they could come out and scratch your lap. So I think glue is the ideal way. Now I'm going to flip this and drop it. You see how graceful that was? Put it in the middle of the fabric, and I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm just going to put this in this place. I'm going to put some extra glue because I really want this to be like where this is where it's actually going to come undone, if it's ever going to come undone. So I'm using up most of my E6000 on this one project. That's okay. I can get more. Try to get a coupon or get this stuff cheap because it can range in price depending on where you get it. But, you know, whatever adhesive you use, super glue, gel would work well, but you need to go through a lot of those little bottles. All right, let's see how that works. I'm going to cut these diagonally in the corners. Let's just cut these totally off. Just basically cutting out a square right here so that you don't have to worry about the overfold bunching up. Make it so much easier. Pulling that as tight as I can. This is where stapling really makes it tighter, but again, I'm just trying to get this done quick and I don't even want to break out my stapler or try to remember where it is. The good thing about E6000 is if you get this on your fingers at all, it rubs off like regular kids' school glue. You don't want to keep it on your fingers. It's a little bit toxic to breathe for a long time or to keep on your skin for a long time. But if you get some on you, it's basically industrial strength rubber cement. So maybe it's not good, but I get it on my fingers like several times a week and I just rub it right off. And so far I haven't died yet, but there's always next week. There. Now once you feel the glue is dry enough, flip your board over. This is going to be, of course, where you work. And you want to get the color you want. So you can use regular paint. I'm going to use spray paint because it's oil-based and it dries faster, it sticks stronger, and it just goes on faster. But you might say, okay, if I'm working on this, what about the beads rolling off? What about if the table's not level? What about if it's on my lap and I have to worry about stuff falling off or rolling or whatever? That's a big pain in the butt. Totally. You could glue little strips of not so thick, kind of thin wood going all the way around to frame it. You could get a picture frame and make it, you know, make your wood the size of the picture frame. Just put the picture frame around it. You could get, life hack, just get a regular canvas from the store, from the art store, cheap canvas, flip it over. There's your board right there. Totally done, pretty much. Now, little beads are going to get stuck in the crack here in wire, so that's a pain. So you might want to put a bead of the E6000 or some kind of caulking or something around the edge here. But what I'm going to do with this guy, and this is another thing, go get dollar store rulers and glue them down as your frame all the way around. It's only a few dollars to fill the whole thing with dollar store rulers, and then you have measuring devices so you can know the sizes of your piece and your wire and get familiar with how much you need for different things. Or you can order fairly inexpensive on the internet or at a store measuring tape. And that way you can get it to the exact dimensions you want. And this is what I'm going to do today. Now you can paint your board and then put the measuring tape down, glue it afterwards. Or if you're like me and you don't like that the most inexpensive one was this awful salmon pink, you can glue it down first. And if you spray paint airbrush it not too harshly, you can change the color without totally wiping out the numbers. So that's what I'm going to try today. And it's good because you get the length, or the width, the length. If you have centimeters also, you can switch to centimeters at the top, or inches on one side, centimeters on the other. If you're familiar with both meterland and the way it's supposed to be done, which is inches and feet, because everything is not in base 10, and that makes it a lot harder because math should be hard. It shouldn't be enjoyable. Anyway, let's do this next part. Or if you really don't plan it totally well, you could do what I did, which is I got my nice inches across the bottom, and then my inches continue up here, and then the centimeters are on the back of this, so I have centimeters at the top, but they don't start at 1, so now I'm going to have to do math. And then I ran out of tape altogether, but luckily I had this 15-inch ruler, which is the exact length of this side of the board, so I glued a hard ruler down for this side. And now that I'm looking at it, I think dollar store rulers are really the best because you can start it at, you can start it at 1 and start it at 1. You don't have to continue it like when you buy all this measuring tape that's kind of made for tailors. But if you buy a whole bunch of measuring tape, like different ones, you'll figure it out. You're smart. Anyway, let's paint this. And I always spray paint over another canvas or two so that I can start making another piece of abstract art while I'm at it, instead of just using a drop cloth, which is a waste. And here we are. I decided to darken them after gluing them on, pulling them off, gluing them back on. I decided to darken these with some spray paint because that's just what I like. I like dark, subdued colors, even the wood one. But anyway, you guys have some fun. Remember, you can just take a paint canvas and do this if you want. Just put a little bead on the inside seam of glue just so nothing gets caught in the corners there. But make yourself a little bead board and have fun. You can also use free paint mixing sticks from the hardware store if you want to get a nice border that's not too thick and you don't want to do the rulers.